Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Nerdy Dad Vlog. I'm Dan, and if you've seen my recent videos, or my previous videos, then you're aware that I like going to thrift shops and searching for toys. And um, usually the toys that I find aren't always in the best shape. So, dating back to my previous toy haul from my one of my earlier videos, I got some Sonic the Hedgehog figures from Savers that weren't really in the best shape. Um, if you look at this Sonic the Hedgehog, which I usually call the Super Saiyan Sonic the Hedgehog because of his spikes and because of his intense look, and the yellow. I mean, you can't not look at it and say, "Oh, that's not Super Saiyan." But anyways, that's just me. Um, he's pretty beat up on the head, scuff marks all over. The boots are dingy. Um, the white gloves and the socks aren't so white anymore. They're more of like I don't even know, like a cream off-white. So I don't know what happened to this figure to make it look like that. So what I did is, in preparation for restoring this figure, is I washed it. That's the first thing you should do when you're buying used toys, is definitely wash it. You don't know what type of environment these toys have been in, and you don't know where they've been, um, without getting too into that. Um, this is also another Sonic that I bought. The nose actually chipped off. He has a flatter nose as compared to this other figure. Um, but I don't mind, because if you look at the modern Sonic the Hedgehog toys, he has more of a flat nose nowadays. So I could just call this my modern Sonic the Hedgehog. Um, the boots seem to have worn out the paint, which seems to be a theme here. I think this toy was really well played with, and that's one of the things that I enjoy about buying toys from thrift stores. Is I always think about someone bought this and played with this, so someone appreciated it for a while, and now they're leaving it at the thrift store, so someone else can appreciate it for for like a cheaper price. So that's what I did. I bought this, and I appreciate getting this for a discounted rate. So I think now is the time for me to restore it back to what it was, or maybe even make it better. So I'm going to try to paint this back to its original blue. I'm going to get the blue back to its vibrancy again. Get the boots to back to the original red, and then for this guy, I think I'm going to focus on the head, and I'm going to get it back to its vibrant yellow, and get its eyes back to their white, the whites around the pupils. So I've got my paint, and this is an affordable paint set that I bought from I think from Michaels, I believe. So this is Craft Smart satin acrylic paint. This is the red from that set. Uh, so they're not too expensive, and they're not too cheap either. So they're about mid brand. Really really good paint, as far as like uh, being an adhesive to the plastic action figures. Um, so I also have my water, which the container that is holding the water is a styrofoam cup that I got from the drive-through of Steak and Shake, which I washed out, of course. So I need my water. If you're going to use acrylic paint, if you have acrylic paint, use water as um, as to clean out the brushes. If you have um, oil paints, definitely have the linseed oil at your side. If, I think it's linseed oil. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've really painted seriously. So I've got my action figures, I've got my paints, I've got my water, and I've got my brushes. So I've got one brush for Sonic, and then I need another brush, and the reason why I'm using two brushes is because one's lighter, one's darker than the other, and so you don't want to mix the paint because you're gonna mix blue and yellow and it's gonna turn out to be green, unless you want a green Sonic, which actually that sounds cool, but maybe I'll buy another Sonic to make a green Sonic. That actually sounds pretty awesome. So I got my two brushes, make sure that they're wet. So put them in the water. Make sure that you pick the correct paint. So this is actually the only yellow that's in the set, but it's pretty close to this yellow, so I'm not worried about that. I would only be worried if it's like, really off. Then the only thing I would have to do is just paint the whole body. Not a big deal. So there's two different blues in this set. There's this blue, it's just the regular blue, and then there's this midnight blue. So I was trying to think of like what I wanted to do. So I think first off, I'm just going to paint it this regular blue, and then I'm going to save the midnight blue for another video because I'm going to make this one a little more dynamic. I'm going to paint this blue and then paint around the head and eyes as if, like, if you're a fan of like the Marvel comics, like from back in the day, like the 70s house style, when John Byrne was painting or drawing Nightcrawler, and he was all blue, and then like he had a darker shading around his face, and just I guess to illustrate that he was like like a darker character, I believe. But I guess I was really a fan of that technique, so that's what I'm going to do with this guy. But for now I'm just going to paint him back to his original color, and then I could always change my mind later, but I probably won't. Excuse me. So I've got my palette here, and it's just a thick piece of cardboard that I got from a notebook. There's no need to buy a palette as long as you have a flat surface that's thick enough where the water won't bleed through or the paint won't bleed through, and you have a big flat surface where you can put your paints on, and then you have enough room to mix your paint if need be. I won't have that need, so this will suffice. So just something to keep in mind when you're painting. You don't need to buy a palette. Cardboard will suffice. So I think I'm about ready. I'm going to do a little more preparation, and then I'll get back to you guys. Okay, so I put my globs of paint on, and I put a little too much of yellow, which kind of sucks because there's no way of me putting it back in there that I can think of right now. So I'm going to start with the Super Saiyan Sonic. So let's go. So make sure you get the excess water. Oop. How did I get that thing? So I guess I already got some yellow paint on my fingers. Let's just wipe that off. And make sure you get the excess water off the brush so you have more control. So I'm just going to dab my paintbrush. I'm going to get the Sonic, and I'm just going to start painting away here. And make sure you start. If you start at a certain point, make sure that you smooth out that paint so you don't have any thick globby areas on the surface, because you want to have as smooth a surface as possible, unless you want a rough surface for your toy. That's always your preference. But here we go, and I'm already liking how this looks. It looks a little shiny right now, just because the paint is still wet, but I could always put more coats on there to get those scuff marks out of the way. And this paint dries really quickly. I could already tell. Paint, as far as acrylic paint, it always dries really fast. So sometimes you just got to keep in mind that you got to work fast. Work. You don't rush yourself, but also work fast, because the paint dries really fast. So I'm already getting a lot of those marks, hiding a lot of those marks out of the way. And this paint is just drying really quickly, so I got to work fast and make sure that there's no rough spots. Don't want that. So this is what it looks like so far. As you can tell, there's already some. You can see the brush marks on there, which I'm trying to get out. Just even out the paint really well. Okay, so for the most part, you can't really see them. So I'm going to wait until this dries a little bit, and then I'm going to put on another coat. And while I'm waiting, I am going to start on the other Sonic. So as you can tell, a lot of it has, you can tell that I covered up a lot of the spots, and I mean, you can still kind of see them. But I think at this point I should probably wait until this first coat dries, and then put on another coat. This for now I'm going to put this to the side, and then I'm going to start on this blue Sonic. So I'm going to put my my brush down. So get my brush, put it down while I'm waiting. You don't want the paint to dry on there. Unfortunately, I still have a lot of yellow on the board, which I don't know how I'm going to put back in there. So, take my other brush that I assigned for the blue, get rid of the excess water and just, wipe down on the palette. That's what it's for. This is where your workspace. And so, look where the problem areas are on this blue Sonic, and start away. So as I can tell, there's not that much problem areas with this. Oh, and wow, the blue applies on here so smoothly. It's really nice. It's a really nice blue. And just making this color pop really well. Really nice. I'm digging this so far. And I'm not even putting water on my brush. At this point, I'm just dry brushing it. This way the paint is much more saturated, and you just get a better thickness of coat on the figure, and that way you get that blue to pop really well, and that's what I want. I want the blue to pop. It's just a beautiful color on this. I'm pretty amazed at how nice this Craftsmart color is. So I'm gonna put this first layer of coat of paint on it, and then I'm just gonna put this aside to dry, and then I'm gonna get back to my Super Saiyan Sonic, which looks like it needs more work, but that's okay. So apply the first coat of blue on the Sonic, and I've got to say, so far it looks really nice. So got the yellow Sonic. Gonna put another coat of yellow. Gonna dry off the brush so I could dry brush it on there. So I'm just gonna take off the excess water, get a good amount of yellow, and I'm just gonna dry brush the rest of that on there to cover up all the spots. And it's coming on really nicely. It's applying really smoothly too. I'm really liking this. So hi guys, welcome back. So I put a few more coats of the yellow on the head, and you could barely see the scuff marks on there anymore. So I'm gonna let this dry one more time, and then I'm gonna come back to the boots. I'm gonna paint the boots on the blue Sonic, and then paint the boots on the yellow Sonic, and then final coat will be the white. You know, I always like to start with the darker colors first, just in case I get some marks on the other parts of the body that I don't want painted, and then I can just fix it up later. So this is going to get set to dry, and then I'll start on the boots with the blue Sonic. So a bit of an update, I was able to scrape all the extra yellow back into here. I'm probably going to scrape all the extra blue back into the blue canister, just because I don't believe in wasting paint when I could use it for other projects. So it's just easy, you know, you just get your paint brush, get your paint, and then you just scrape it in there, you know. Don't want to waste paint, especially good paint. And I really like this blue. I like how vibrant it is. I'm a huge fan of this blue now. You know, not that I wasn't a fan of it before, but I wasn't aware of how awesomely vibrant this is. It's just a great blue, especially for the Sonic. So I'm gonna get my red, the only red I have in here. So in this box it's called Cherry. So I'm gonna get that, get a new brush. Or actually, I'll get the, I'll use the yellow. So what you do when you still have residue leftover paint is I'm gonna take this and then squeeze it onto the bottom of the cup, squeeze out the yellow, excess yellow, then get it at the top and then squeeze out the excess water because it might have more yellow in there, and then do that again just to get that yellow out of there. Okay, so then you just dry your paintbrush on your palette again. And just try to avoid all the yellow in there. Okay, so somewhat clean enough. And then you just get your paint. So here's my red or my cherry, and I'm gonna open. Okay, 1 second, guys. So I got my cherry paint, and I probably squeezed out way too much again. So I should really squeeze it on the edge. So that's just you live and you learn, huh? So anyways, got this blue Sonic and want to paint the boots because they're looking a little dingy. So I get my red paint, and there's already water on here, and I just cleaned this out. So I think it's best to just dry brush it. So just get a small dab of paint and just put it on the edge, because you don't need much, because we're just restoring this guy. And just paint lightly. And I'm trying to avoid the stripe on here. So I'm just going to start with the toes, and once I'm done with the toes, then I'm going to put it down and let it dry for a while, and then I'm going to paint the heels. And this cherry actually is really nice, blends in well with the existing paint, so it's a really nice color. And I don't think I even need another dab of paint in that glob right there. So I'm just going to paint this. And you actually don't need much paint when you're restoring it back to its original color, just because what you're doing is just touching it up. That's all you're doing. You know, you're not painting it a new color. If you're painting it a new color and you're starting from scratch, then you need a lot of paint. But for this, I don't. So the boots already look much more vibrant. So I have to wait. I'm going to wait for a little while and wait till that dries. And it's going to dry quickly since it's acrylic paint. Let that dry, and then I'm going to paint this this guy. It's actually still kind of wet, but you know what? I'm going to hold them from another angle so I don't mess up the paint job that I did earlier. So I'm just going to paint the toes on this guy. And as I said, you don't need much paint, just need enough to touch them up, which is what I'm doing. And just a small dab of paint will suffice. And then you can just scrape the rest back into the bottle so you don't waste money in paint, especially money. Alright, so the boots look much better. I think I missed a spot. There you go. There you go. So the boots look much better and much more vibrant. I just had to paint the heels. I'm waiting for the other one to dry so I can paint the heels. I'll be back. I'm going to do a little more preparation and cleaning up while these are drying, and then I'll come back to you guys. What is up, guys? I'm back. So while you guys were gone, and while I was gone actually, I took it upon myself to paint the heels. So now the boots look much better, much more vibrant. I think, oh wow, I think I missed a spot. But you know what? I will get back to that. But for what it is, they look much better than they did before. This guy especially looks much better than he was before. So the only thing I have left for this guy is to paint the eyes. So paint the white around the pupils. So that's what I'm going to do. Same thing for this guy. I just got to paint the whites around the pupils, and then I just have to paint in the nose. So, got my white paint. Learned my lesson this time. Put a small dab of paint on there. Got a new brush. I'm not going to dip it in the water because it is nasty. It is this green color that I can't show you until the video's done, but I will show you. So get the figure, and this seems to be drier than the other one, so I'm going to get a small dab of the white. Small, really small dab of the white, and I'm just going to paint away. And you want to make sure that I get all the problem areas. Because this is such a distinct feature for this character. Just the whites of the eyes. You got the blue silhouette, and then you got the white eyes. Just a very distinct feature on this character. And I'm already liking how this is turning out, and I'm really digging this Craft Smart paint, by the way. Really digging it. It's very easy to control. I'm glad I didn't select oil, which oil takes a long time to dry, but typically oil paints have much more vibrant colors. So I'm actually gonna have to use water because I have to even this out, smooth out the white, and that's better. That's a lot better. So this is coming along really well, and it's getting away. I'm just removing all of the bad scuffs on the eyes, and it's turning out really well, I must say. So that is pretty beautiful. I must say, that is really nice. So the eyes look much better, so much better. And I'm gonna let this dry, just because I might want to put another coat of paint. But if I choose not to, I will, that paint might just suffice. I'm gonna work on this guy. And I didn't realize how many scuff marks are in this eye. And it's a shame that a lot of the scuff marks are dark, but because it requires me to put on a couple more layers, but that's okay. I'm not going to get it all with the first layer. And it is really removing all of the bad marks, and I love the way it's turning out. It's turning out awesome. So that's super cool. The whites in the eyes no more scuff marks. They're gone. And that's cool. So now I am going to paint the noses. So I'm going to get the paint, the black paint, and just touch up on the noses, and then I will be done for now. So let me get a new brush. And I want to get something with a really, really small small tip, so I could paint the noses on these guys and be finished finally. So you get the black paint. Oh, too much again. All right, I don't know my own strength. So dip a little bit of water in there. Okay. And perfect. Now I just have to get back to the ears sometime later. I don't have a cream or tan color that I could use to cover that up. But for now, I think we made a lot of progress today. I definitely think we made a lot of progress. Not aware of my faces that I'm making, but almost done, guys. Almost done. And I know this is a long video. I apologize, but thank you for sticking with me. So almost done. So finally done. So I got the nose painted, and right now it just doesn't look spectacular, but wait until it's dried so it could blend in much easier with the rest of the figure. And so if you take into account how the figures originally looked to how they look now, I'd say that is a lot of progress, and that's a stark difference from what it was before. So thank you guys for watching my video. I'm going to post this in my toy photography series, just because anything that revolves around, involves, restoration or making toys or dioramas, which I will begin in the future, will be posted in my toy photography. Anything that has to do with crafts and arts that involves toys, I will put in my toy photography series. So I will be expanding that series much more frequently. So thank you for watching. If you watch all the way to the end, I know it's a long video, but I thank you guys, and please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Please subscribe. I thank you for your support if you already subscribed, and I just enjoy making these videos for you guys. So please like if you enjoyed this video, and please subscribe. Thank you guys.